So I guess first things first. Hey everybody, my name is Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be playing a little Halloween game, which is called Vamp, Fairy, Ghost, which is sort of like the Halloween equivalent of Fuck, Marry, Kill with fictional characters. This is a tag or game or challenge or whatever you want to call it, and it was created by Rebecca and Sarah at T-Hags, who are fabulous, and if you haven't checked out their channel, you totally should. I will link their original video down below. And then I was tagged by Megan and Sue from the channel Spinebreakers, who are also wonderful, and if you haven't checked them out, you totally should. I adore them. This seems like the kind of game that is a lot more fun if you have had a drink or two. So I'm going to be drinking this Oktoberfest from City Lights Brewing, and then I'm going to be judging some book characters, which is one of the things that I do best in life. So I have in this skull wine glass, I have the names of 18 characters. I'm going to draw 3 out at a time, and I'm going to decide which of them I would turn into a vampire, which I would turn into a fairy, and which I would turn into a ghost, and then I'm going to explain my reasons why. I'm approaching this from the perspective of what I think would make the most entertaining story, and not so much how I feel about the characters personally, just because that's how I want to do it. So let's just get this party started. Alright, we have Kim from the Scott Pilgrim series, Astrid from White Oleander, and Amy from John Dies at the End. Ooh, okay. I really want Kim to be a fairy because I feel like she's like the chick drummer in their like mediocre rock band, and I just think like that she would be this super badass little fairy playing the drums and judging everyone, and I just think it would be amazing. Also, Kim is like my spirit animal. Like, she is me, and I love her deeply. I'm gonna turn Astrid into a vampire. Astrid is the kind of character who has a lot of people that she could be seeking revenge on for the things that have happened to her in her life, and I think her going on a vampiric rampage would be really fucking entertaining. And then lastly, Amy from John Dies at the End. Amy would be an awesome ghost. I love Amy. She is one of my favorite characters in the John Dies at the End series. And I think that she, as a ghost, could come back and, like, haunt John and Dave and just, you know, sit there and tell them, like, these are dumb decisions you're making. You need to do things better. And she could just be, like, their weird ghost spirit guide. And I think it would be really fun. On the ground. Wonderful. Next we have Billy Pilgrim from Slaughterhouse-Five, Johnny from The Outsiders, and Hermione Granger. Okay, so I'm gonna make Hermione a ghost for kind of similar reasons to why I made Amy a ghost. I think Hermione haunting Ron and Harry and just pointing out when they're doing really stupid things would be really fun. And also I think Hermione could make like a really good ghost in residence at Hogwarts. I think that would suit her. Or maybe at the Ministry, like that could be fun too. I'm gonna turn Johnny into a vampire because Johnny is my favorite character probably in the history of all fictional characters. I adore him so much, and he can live eternally, forever, just being a badass vampire. He deserves that. Billy Pilgrim wouldn't necessarily make an amazing fairy, but I don't want to make him either of the other two things, so Billy Pilgrim's gonna be a fairy. Okay, next we have Lion Cat from Saga, Bridget Jones from Bridget Jones' Diary, and Sissix from The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. Ooh, this is something. Well, I want Lion Cat to be a vampire. No particular reason, I just think that would be amazing. Like, I already love Lion Cat, and then I think Lion Cat as the undead with like little vampire fangs would be fabulous. Bridget Jones I'm gonna make into a ghost because she seems like the kind of person who would die and then have unfinished business in the form of like all of her unrequited loves in her lifetime. And Sissix I'm gonna make a fairy because Sissix is like already a little fairy godmother-ish to most of the other characters in Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, so I just think that the fairy lifestyle suits her. If you've read that book, and you either agree or disagree with me, feel free to comment down below and let me know what you think. But I think Sissix as a fairy would be pretty awesome. Next we have Charlie from The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Petra from The Chrysalids, and Count Olaf from the series of Unfortunate Events. Okay, well, Charlie is gonna be a ghost because Charlie, much like Bridget Jones, is the kind of person that I feel is gonna end up having a lot of unfinished business in his lifetime because he like never speaks his mind. He overthinks everything. He's probably gonna die wishing he had told someone how he feels, and I think that it would be good to have a book about Charlie as a ghost trying to like cross over, trying to finish up, like tie up all of his loose ends and finish up all of his unfinished business. So Charlie's gonna be a ghost. Count Olaf, I'm gonna be honest, when I wrote these characters out, I wanted to make Count Olaf a vampire, but in this grouping, I don't want to do that. So Count Olaf is going to be a fairy, and honestly, there's no particular reason other than that it would be kind of funny. And Petra from The Chrysalids is going to be a vampire, under one stipulation, and that's that she maintain the same kind of psychic abilities that she has when she is a normal human. I think that she would be an unstoppable force if she had that ability and was also a vampire. Next grouping, we have Dr. Van Helsing from Dracula, Basil from Horror Store, which is a book I just finished reading recently, and Elphaba from Wicked. I'm gonna say that I want to make Van Helsing a vampire because he is the vampire hunting type, and it just stands to reason that at some point he would end up getting accidentally turned. Like he wasn't careful enough, he gets turned into a vampire, and then he goes through this transition and has to struggle with his morals and like, what does he do? I kind of had this conversation with Jessica and Christina at Game of Tomes because when they did this, they made Dwight Schrute from The Office into a fairy, and I said I would make him a vampire, and then they thought it would be fun to have him have to debate his morals as a vampire. And like, what does he do? Does he sacrifice himself and die because he knows that he's going to become a monster, or does he go on a reign of terror? And I would love to see what would happen with Van Helsing in that situation. Basil, I'm going to make a ghost because it kind of works with the way that his character's story ends in the book Horror Store. So he's trying to find his missing coworkers that are in this like haunted knockoff IKEA. And you know, what would happen if he never found them and then he died having never found them and never finding out what happened to them? I think that he would come back as a ghost because that sounds like unfinished business to me. And then Elphaba, I'm going to make a fairy because I think that if she were going to come back as some supernatural being other than being just a witch, she would come back as a fairy and like, you know, go around helping all of the misfits of the world that are a lot like herself. All right, and then my last grouping is Heathcliff from Wuthering Heights, Andy from Descender, he is a Big Brother character, and Evelyn Hugo. I am going to make Heathcliff a vampire because he's a very like broody motherfucker, and I just think that vampire life kind of suits his general vibe. And Wuthering Heights, I feel like would have worked as a vampire story. Or I could make him a ghost and he and Kathy could find each other. No, I'm gonna make him a vampire because I'm going to make Evelyn Hugo a ghost because I think it would be really interesting if the entire time during Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, she was actually a ghost and her unfinished business was that she needed to tell Monique, the reporter, her life story. And then Andy is gonna be a fairy because I think that he could be, again, kind of the fairy godfather type to all of the little misfit AIs out in the world. I think he would want to help. So Andy's gonna become a fairy out in the world helping misfit robot children. That is my Vamp Fairy Ghost tag. I'm not going to tag anybody in this, if only because I'm planning on posting this on Halloween, but if you decide you want to do it anyway, you can consider yourself tagged. You can say I tagged you, or you can just say Sam's a bitch and she didn't tag anyone, but I'm doing it anyway. That's also a solid option. I'm gonna get going, but I will see you guys in the next video.